You've turned the whole thing back into a debt money system again. So you have to think of all these things. I mean, if we're going to deal with this, and not only that, now we have the problem of how would you get all that gold in the first place? And I had a guy say, well, we could just buy it with Federal Reserve notes. Well, wait a minute. What is wrong then with the Federal Reserve note if it can buy all the gold? And now haven't we valued the gold in the dollars that was created as interest-bearing loans?
Yeah.
Well, so now, wait a minute. If we was now going to quit using the Federal Reserve notes, well, why would anybody want to accept them and buy and take them and sell the gold to you for those? Because we're going to get rid of them. We're not going to use them anymore. So, in other words, you want the people to just give you the gold? Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to sell them buy them with Federal Reserve notes and then destroy the Federal Reserve notes. Not have them work anymore as a monetary system. And if we don't, we still have debt. Now you always have the problem that if you have a dual monetary system, then you can always value the one money and the other money. Because I've had lots of people tell me, well, the value of the gold went up and down. According to what? If the dollar was like many constitutionalists claim it should be, a set, you know, but according to the 1792 Coinage Act, so much gold and silver per dollar, well, if that was the only money, you'd have to buy gold with silver or silver with gold or gold with gold. Now, if I buy an ounce of gold from you for an ounce of gold, how can we ever get more gold than we had before? And how can the value of gold go up or down? Because it always takes an ounce to make a dollar, if it's an ounce to the dollar. So see, you have to think about all these little things that most people don't think about if you're really going to deal with these problems. Then again, how are we going to have the money to rebuild our factories? Because if we aren't going to have this trade deficit, then we're going to have all these factories. Can we build all these factories in less than 3 years and get them all up and running and get all the goods in so we quit buying from China? If we don't do it in 3 years, we'll lose all our money before we get the factories up. And if we're building factories with them, then the money can't go to buy the goods, so we've got to go without the goods. It's got to be one or the other, or a combination of both. So, you know, that's the reason. And then you have the problem that really, if the whole world used gold, then there wouldn't be enough money to do it anyway. Then we have to also deal with what do we do with all the debt we have right now? I mean, we either have to write it off the books, or pay it off, or do something. We just can't ignore it like it doesn't exist. And if you're just going to write off the debt, that means you're going to destroy the Federal Reserve notes. Well, then again, we come back to the problem, why would anybody want to sell you the gold for something that they knew would be absolutely not even in existence within a year or two? I can't believe people would do that. I sure wouldn't want to sell my winter coat to anybody on a cold winter day if I knew I wasn't going to get anything for it. I mean, I got the coat and I ain't going to get anything to keep me warm, because it's not going to exist I mean, it maybe exists for 20 minutes and then it's gone. It takes me 40 minutes to walk home. I'm in trouble. You know, and this is, basically it's turned into religion. Instead of really stopping and thinking things through, we get an idea and, oh, it just got to work. But we never think about the consequences of each one. And also, you have to do things by steps. It's pretty hard to eat the whole hog at one bite. But it's easier if you take a little step at a time and then see that that works and then move on to the next one with the entire goal in mind. And again, there's several ways you could do it, but if you just wipe off the debt, which I've had people say, well, at this point in time, that also is somebody else's asset. Now, most people I know would like to get rid of their debts right now. But nobody I've met likes to get rid of all their assets right away. So, see, you've got to have a way to work all these things out. And the only way I know to do that is have people really sit down and honestly discuss all these facts and decide, you know, which is the best way to go. And then, as we used to say, make a plan and work the plan. If we don't do that, we're never going to get any place. But we have so many people run around and say, well, this won't work, only because they've never thought about it. And then they never stop and think back of all the ramifications. Now, that's what we try to do, and I don't say we always do everything right, because I'm like everybody else. I don't have all the knowledge in the world. There's lots of things I don't know. But we do know one thing, that today we have a lot of debt that's court enforceable. And what I mean by that, if you don't pay, they can come kick you out of your home or take your car away or whatever. So see, that's pretty much of a reality we have to deal with. Now, if we could get the people in state government and other places to understand that the banks have just created this money as a promise to pay, never actually give us anything that they possessed or would hurt them if they lost anyway, then you could write off the books. But then at the same time, you have to figure out somehow for people to keep their assets if you destroy the money system. So you have to come up with another kind of a money system. Which is that going to be? We've just proven it can't be gold, and silver, as I understand it, I did some research on that, is used so much in industry that if you try to use that, well, then you'd have to quit making a lot of things you're making now, because it's a metal that they actually use in industry a lot more than gold. So if you take off the way all the gold and subtract, or silver that's subtracted is used as in industry, then you really don't have a very big supply of silver to use for money. But see, there's really nothing wrong with the concept of what we use for money now. Once you understand that money really should be just a tool to make medium exchange and trading easier. But it should not make anybody rich just making money off of money. Because you can't eat food that that doesn't really give you nourishment. And so the idea is your money should only be used and should only be a tool for making exchanges of other real goods and services quicker, easier, and more efficient. And I have lots of people tell me, well, they'd rather use the paper because it's more convenient. And it's clear most of the people think that, because what do they do right now? They use checks, they use credit cards, much more accepted than actually carrying even the cash around, much less the gold and silver. And I don't know, if you had very many $100 of gold in your pocket, I guarantee you them pockets get pretty heavy. And most people I know wouldn't want to lug that around on their everyday, going back and forth to do business. I even find it's much more convenient, and not that I have enough of it to make much difference, but if I carry a lot of $100 bills, it doesn't take up near as much room in my billfold as it does that same amount of ones, does it? So see, you always have these factors. So see, you've got to quit thinking about what money is and more about how money does. What's the effects of how money is used? Well, we clearly know if you put money into circulation as monetized production, then you have a medium exchange with no debt, and it always stays that way. Nobody gets a special benefit by just making money off of money or making value off of money, which really can't be done anyway and shouldn't be done. But if you trick enough minds, you can, gain a lot of assets. Because if I can buy all you got with a promise to pay, then actually I got everything free, didn't I? Well, right now banks get everything for free, and yet they claim they need a bailout. Well, how ridiculous can that be? So see, it's just a matter of who gets the benefit of the production of it. Now, if your government actually produces that money, whether it be a piece of paper or a digit on the computer in a bookkeeping system, it doesn't really make any difference. If that money's put into circulation in a way that benefits everyone equally, and everyone had to produce something of value, like a road, a bridge, or something else that everybody could use, then you have a very workable monetary system that works. You can have enough of it. You could then even create enough of it, and you could make some small loans to start building factories,